Hello everyone, Jesse Webb, TradersPro. Market conditions really had a robust move last week and moved back up into the bullish in a bull market state. This means traders and investors should consider trading with a bullish bias, buying or going long stocks, long ETFs, or call options in this kind of a market environment. Currently, we bounced aggressively off of these support areas and everything off of the lows. Momentum has moved back up into the bullish trend, and breadth is getting there. Sentiment was already there and also looking good. So we've got some really good bullish conditions. Buy-sell ratio just really popped really quickly. We're back to a buy-sell ratio of 1. You can see here we are already up to 2. From 2.7 to, or from 0.2 or 0.74 back up to 2. So really strong rally right here. These are this strength and these internals and the amount of stocks moving certainly is indicating more momentum to the upside. We saw a really strong move off of sentiment as well, and looking for some continuation on the overall trend to the upside. We also saw the indexes. We've been looking at these ratios now. All of them were quite bearish. We're extremely bullish now. We moved really quickly to get this buy-sell ratio to the upside. We've been talking about the Dow Industrials. We saw 21 to the downside just a few days ago, and now we're back to 16 to the upside. So these market conditions, these are the bullish market conditions that we want to see for continued momentum to the upside. This move has happened really quickly, though, and in a short amount of time. So don't be surprised to see some kind of a retracement here. We'll look at some charts to look at some levels. We're also seeing sectors looking really strong right here. The sector ETF, this is a quick scan we like to do. Typically, we see a lot of red. Now we're seeing a lot of green and yellow. That's also a good thing for stocks right here. Commodities, the main ones we've seen steel actually pop higher. That's actually a good thing for when anticipation of economic growth is in there. Steel will often rally. Gold has been moving strongly and still continue to consolidate and pull back a little bit, which is good, going from that extreme level, pulling back into the buy zone, and looking strong right here in this buy zone. Not really doing much after the upside or the downside, but that was a huge move to consolidate here on gold. Let's look at oil real quick here. Apologize, I've got a little bit of a head cold here. USO rallying, big nice uptrend, pulling back at that 382 consolidation zone, holding some support right there at that 40 or at that 74 range, and I'm hoping we retrace back down to that 71. I'd like to see oil have one more pop back down and then actually create this counter trend ABC pattern, potentially for more upside. At that point, we'll see what ends up happening on USO this week. SPY, let's pull up SPY. So it has moved back up into this bullish uptrend or momentum zone here. But again, the move, and we're also back up. Let's pull up a little bit longer time frame. We're also back to, we bounced off that 50% low and approaching that 438. That 438 is going to become some resistance right here. This entire range, again, really the entire range that we're at, had been a resistance area, had been a support area. Now it was a resistance area on the way back up that repelled it, moved it back lower. So now we're back up into that zone. So the ideal setup is for a pullback back down, an ideal setup for a longer momentum type trade, or it could rally through that and break through that and then give us a counter trend, but some kind of a pullback for a retest area. So at this point, the retest possibility in the shorter term here is at 425. That's about a 50% retracement of this high and this low. So that entire move pulling back halfway, it's about 40.35. These support levels are right around that 435, and you've got resistance right here at 438. So even just some consolidation right here. The strength of this market though we'll see if we end up getting that or not. That is a pretty strong move, but either it retraces that much or it just does a whole lot of nothing for 3 or 4 days, maybe with a slight bias to the upside. That will allow for some continuation for more upside. We do have all of these levels now. We've moved back up above these levels. These are all floors now. 425, this 418 really this 418 to 411 area on SPY. So nice looking strong move here in the market. So now we want to focus on this individual stocks that are showing strength. That muscle stock group, the new buy list, we're seeing CABA, which has been a high flyer. You can see in the last year up 700% just from this low. That is just a straight shot though from the 12-month period of time, going from this low to this high where we're at. It's moved back up into that momentum zone. It's proven that it can be a mover. Biotech, anything to do with that world, is extremely volatile. So certainly account for that volatility by, possible expectations of 25 to 30% to the upside or downside when you're dealing with really high flying volatile stocks like that. Cooper Tires, this stock surprisingly is a really volatile mover, and when it has these moves, it really moves aggressively. You can see from here, from 7 to 16, from this move 11 to 20, and it must have had a great earnings report. Big gap, 43%. That's a huge move in one day. Automatically takes it to extremely overbought right here at 410 on the momentum. Those big, huge gappers, give them a little bit of time for the dust to settle on those and ideally allow for this to come back into the buy zone. Sometimes you get a continuation move, and in this market we may see some continuation, but if you give it 2 or 3 days, it's not going to move much further, more than likely, for an opportunity to get in at a little bit better price. Because you think about this 43% move, even it could retrace back halfway. That's a 25-30% move in volatility on a stock like that. It's great for the momentum eventually, but that very first day after the gap needs a little bit of time. INOD, this is a nice looking pattern here on the 1-year chart. A lot of these stocks that were big movers at the beginning of the year really got crushed, and now they're starting to reverse these patterns and starting to move back up a little bit here. This is a pretty decent bounce around that 618 retracement. It's got a nice bullish buy profile, 9% move on INOD. IRON, this is a better looking pattern, that one that up in that upper momentum zone. You've got this high point here. It retraced a little deeper than that back to these lows, but now you've got a lot of support happening here inside of this range. Confirmation move back up to that bullish buy zone. Let's look to see what that 6-month time frame looks like as well, but that 1-year chart is nice. 50% retracement on this recent trend and moving back up to the momentum zone. There's going to be a bunch of these stocks. SVRA as well. This is a nice looking pattern back up in the momentum zone here as well, and go through that list. You're going to find quite a few stocks that are looking good. You could also start, these are market conditions now where you can really focus on some of these bellwethers, going back into the industrial sector, back into the NASDAQ 100, even the S&P 500 index. If we pull in these stocks, let's see what some of the leaders in S&P 500 are. Pulte, which is a home builder, had a huge run. Just look at that, from the entire correction erased in 3 days. That is a powerful, powerful move. That's institutions believing that the Fed is done raising interest rates. Okay, that amount of volume coming in and that intensity on the upside is an interest rate play right here. FTI, let's look at some of these others. FTI is an oil stock, also a nice looking mover. Again, these are S&P 500. The new buys now are the momentum stocks to the upside. Broadcom, which has been a nice one. DR Horton, which is another home builder. Royal Caribbean, which has got its first new buy after quite a while at this deep retracement. So you're seeing lots and lots of stocks really across the board that are starting to work. These are fantastic. This is the early indication of new trend to the upside with that little bit of confirmation. Okay, it's not the exact bounce off the bottom, but we focused off the bounce off the bottom by looking at the buy-sell ratio for the last 2 weeks, the last week and a half, when it got down here to this 0.08, 0.1, 0.09, right here, this low point. That is anticipation of deeply oversold, getting ready for a bounce. Now we've had that bounce. Now we're switching to, instead of a deeply oversold bounce opportunity, we're looking for momentum opportunity, getting that mass majority of stocks on the uptrend side. And now it's looking for whatever it is you want to be able to focus on, whether it's a NASDAQ stock, an industrial stock, a mid cap, small cap. You're seeing everything having everything is working right here. Remember, the ETFs will also allow you to look for sectors. If you don't want to buy the individual stocks, you just want to buy the home builders. For example, this symbol NAIL is an ETF that essentially buys all the home builders and is 3x, is leveraged to the upside. So it's like, well, which home builder is going to work right here? I don't know. I'm going to buy the entire group and I'm going to leverage that. So if that group goes up 1%, this goes up 3%. So NAIL is an ETF to be able to play that entire group. So as you go through and look through some of these, either in the new buys in the ETFs, some of those other, like, even semiconductors, SMH, right here, there's multiple semiconductor companies that create these ETFs. So that's, if you see the same one over and over, it's just a different company that is offering that. Gold miners, 2X directional ETF, Nugget, NUGT. This actually is a really nice looking pattern, retracement. Here where you have, it's deeper into this downtrend, but this is a nice bottoming process. Look right here, you have it uptrend, you now have a high, you now have a lower high moving this direction and bullish confirmation. That's an ETF that would own multiple gold stocks, so you're not having to pick out just one specific gold stock, and it's got some room that it could run here, most certainly. That'll do it for today's update. Thanks everyone for your time and effort. If you don't have full access to the site and software, you can sign up with the link below, and we look forward to having you. Have a fantastic day today.